Get ready for it.
Heavily lightning. A faraway land called Ishiyama High School is famous for non-stop violence and lawless delinquents. There's a defiant bastard named Oga who never cares about anyone. He is a first-year student. He is encountered by a senior Abe, who provokes him to fight. With a cool attitude, Oga ignores him and asks him to keep his voice down. The baby will wake up. All the other students standing around stunned to see Oga taking Abe down. Does he have no idea Abe is known as a killing machine? But Oga is the legendary rampaging demon ogre of Kata Jr. High. Everyone's eyes are on them, and suddenly he starts sweating. Seems like a lake is coming out of his head. They think Oga is afraid of Abe. But one of the students shouts, "It's not sweat, a baby is pissing on his head." A cute baby with green hair and a nose like a ball sits on his head.
Oh! Ew!
Abe pisses off and comes forward to attack him. Oga holds the baby in one hand, punches him, and game's over. Abe snatches the baby from his hand, gets offensive, climbs on his head, and starts crying. Suddenly electric shocks shiver everyone out. Oga is telling a story to his friend, but he interrupts to stop fabricating stories. After hearing a baby's voice, he inquires about him. Then he again started. Once some gangsters bow in front of him asking for forgiveness. They try to kill him, but he just gives them a good wash beside the riverbed. Over there, he sees a big guy floating. He rescues him and then splits him in half, and a spirited baby boy emerges. The big guy left them by saying transfer. The baby is so cute, he tries to make horrible faces to fear him, but he gets attached to him. But his friend doesn't believe his story and spares the baby from Oga. Oh damn, here he made a mistake. If the baby got bored, that was dangerous. As he started crying, the electric shock discharged. After getting burned with shocks, Furuichi shouts at the non-human baby. Oga shuts him, and the other students fight around, so the baby can't wake up. Unluckily, the baby wakes up and gets mad, and again they are all burned with electric shocks.
Got him!
Still, the baby is not happy. Furuichi rapidly draws a character, and shows him a cute bunny but all in a whine. He thinks it out and bursts out with anger and electricity. Now they can't be able to move. Furuichi gives him an idea to ditch this baby, and Oga refuses to be cruel. In the canteen, two groups are fighting for a hamburger, and Oga shows up and plans to feed him so the baby will sleep. While the students argue, the baby takes a burger and throws it away, and everyone rushes to catch it, which makes him laugh. Oga can't understand such a baby. On the other side, a girl ejaculated from the sun, riding on a suspicious creature, leading towards a targeted place. They take the baby home, and Oga tries to manipulate Furuichi's mind to take this golden baby, but they refuse. Oga tries to take the baby off, but he grips him tightly. He then shows him a demon face. Still, the baby gets attached more than before. All of a sudden, a girl in a black dress holding an umbrella arrives there. She laughs at Oga as the master can't get attached to him, which makes him furious, and he asks her to give it a try. She courteously calls the baby to go with her, and she comes to take him home, but he straightway refuses. She starts snatching him off from Oga's shirt.
Loki.
Hello, Mother. Have I made you proud?
Where the baby is not leaving him, which makes Oga so proud. Then Furuichi reminds him he doesn't want a baby, and it's a good chance for him. So, he also takes him off and asks Furuichi for help. When he puts his hand, electric waves explode 3 of them. The girl introduces herself as a demon Hildegard and this baby's maid. This kid will become a king of demons. His name is Kaiser de Emperana Beelzebub IV. In short, a demon lord destroys humanity. Hearing the word demon, they freeze. Furuichi thanks for letting them know, but now she is coming to take the baby, so please take it and go. She replies that it's impossible now as the master chooses Oga as a father, and it's the order of the great demon lord to send the master to Earth, raise him by humans and teach him to destroy humanity. Furuichi wishes him luck and tries to run out, where Oj grabs him. The big guy also bashes in the room. His name is Elendellen. He is a transference demon. He told him why he chose Oga. He saw him standing heartily as humans groveled, and that was when he decided to give master to him. Oga doesn't want to take responsibility for the baby. Hildegard smiles, tells him he must die, and takes a sharp sword from the umbrella. Oga and Furuichi run to save their lives. She is a demon, she can chase them effortlessly. Furuichi is so afraid that he is in a state of crying and laughing together. She told them to surrender, but they kept running. She ordered her rider Akubaba to stop them. Oga kicks me, and the demon is grounded. Hildegard can't believe her eyes. She strikes her spell several times, and they manage to defend them all. They end up running in a field. Hildegard pointed her sword at Olga's cheek, warning him that breaking the contract of demon only costs life and pinch a bit. His blood drop fell on the baby's cheek, his eyes filled with tears, and he started crying and burst out of electric shock. Hildegard and Furuichi came out of the orbit, but Olga was suffering alone. The baby was still crying. And only the great demon lord can quiet the master demon. A hand rises, and the baby gets calm. It's Olga. He patted his head and said that a man shouldn't cry like this. People will think he is weak. Hildegard is stunned to see this. The baby wiped off his tears and nodded his head. Olga walks away and asks him not to follow him again. Suddenly, a huge electric tower shatters and is about to fall on the baby. Olga unconsciously jumps to save the master. They both destroy the steel tower. Olga resonates with the demon's power. She can't believe he is a human. Olga, holding a baby in his arm, fell to the ground. Eventually, he wakes up. He takes a deep breath. It was a dream. Otherwise, he would end up parenting a demon lord. To his surprise, Hildegard and the baby are sitting beside him, waiting for him to wake up from 2 days. So, they will raise the demon lord to destroy humanity. The following day, the baby sticks to Olga's back. They are in the school where other students are waiting for him to fight with him. Olga deals with them single-handedly. Furuichi and both are in the biolab to test what baby Beel attracts to. He likes the ripped skin dummy more. He must be exceptional. Olga leaves him with Furuichi, but as he steps out of the lab, the baby Beel starts crying, crawls out and hugs him. He needs to bear the shocks of betraying. Furuichi asks him why he brings him to school. Olga hopelessly replies that a demon has taken his place, and there is no escaping from the baby. Yesterday he took Hildegard, and the baby came to his home. She presents like they are in a relationship and it's their baby. Olga tries to clear his side, where all family members are frozen in shock to see this. Olga's mother shows her affection to the baby. His father gets angry, feels sorry for raising him wrong, and asks him to show respect. How sad. Furuichi is curious whether they are both living under the same roof, and why they don't choose his house for living. He further told him that last night, when he refused to carry the baby, Beel asked them to leave, where he got angry and started showing tantrums which increased the intensity of the shocks. The distance increased, and the electric waves rose to a fatal level. The max limitation for him is 15 meters. Furuichi foolishly asks where Hildegard sleeps, upon which Olga punches him away. At that station, other students also arrive and carry the baby. When Olga turns his head, he notices the distance is about to exceed. The baby is about to cry, and Olga warns them not to step back, otherwise, he will kill them. Suddenly they hear the voice of other seniors of the second year also arriving there. He asks them to come forward while staying in his orbit, and end their game with a single punch. The twin-headed dragon takes out cutting and drilling machines to beat him. Olga uses ground pounds, and they are grounded. Everyone shocks. Olga rocks. He kicks all seniors out, and baby Beel gets more attracted toward him. But his bad luck, he falls down and again burns in shock. He returns home. Everyone sits for dinner and looks excited because Hildegard made dinner for them. Thoroughly impressed by her personality and skills, his mother takes Beel and asks him to take a bath first. Olga is enjoying the hot bath, but unfortunately, Dylan interrupts to report the distance between him and the master. Beel is finally sleeping peacefully. Dylan comes up and transforms Furuichi as he wanders outside the house to see where they are sleeping. Olga wonders why the baby chooses him. Dylan tells him that if there is a more brutal guy than him, Beel will choose him instead. Olga finds hope, and the three of them laugh out loud. In the demon's world, the great demon lord is playing a game. Dead X comes by to show him a picture of the chosen father for Beel, and the lord sends a special toy for Beel. Olga takes baby Beel to school to find out who is more brutal than him, but no one has such potential. Everyone smells something stingy. They run off from him. It's Beel popping on his head. He yells at him, and he bears electric shocks as a reward. Oh damn. Hildegard also comes to school to deliver a unique parcel for Beel. Everyone stares at her. Goodnight tries to make a chance, but unluckily, she's not an ordinary girl. Hildegard threw him out of the building. Students get scared of her and run to save their life. Olga gets hope that there is someone stronger. Unfortunately, it's Hildegard standing there. He gives the baby to her, and as he spares him, he starts crying again. She gives him a toy, and by hearing its sound, he stops crying. She asks him if he has found someone better than him. He refuses. He gets the idea that the principal of such a worse school must be more vital. When they reach his office, a weak older man, shivering out of fear, sits silently. Oh God, what a disappointment. While moving on, baby Beel out of nowhere starts crying, and his time wave's strength is so intense that it breaks a wall. Hildegard tells them the master is hungry now, but she destroys the room where milk is placed earlier. Furuichi is curious, not she feeds him, punches him away and says the master prefers milk from the 9-headed King Hydra. They go to the canteen to find something familiar. She gives cow milk to him. When the baby tries to drink it, a group of students suddenly rushes through them and a pack of milk spills on the floor. Baby Beel started crying, and the vigorous electric shocks threw them out. Oga takes him to the bank of the river and teaches him a manly lesson to control his emotion because a real man keeps his tear, and use them as a weapon when truly needed. Beel nodded his head as he understood everything. Twin head brothers come on the bike and snatch the baby. Olga runs to chase them. This time, Baby Beel tries harder not to cry. Elaine Dillon comes there to tell the distance and offers to use him. Olga transferred into him. Twin head brothers thought Olga had left behind, but when they saw a big guy standing in their way, the big guy pops, and Olga comes out of him. He puts the baby on his head, the demon's power is turned on and punches them, and they are gone above the sky. Now Olga and Baby Beel are going home. While walking, his toy breaks which make Master cry. Olga requests to stop, but the shocks keep rising. Hildegard knows he still needs to learn a lot. Olga is sweating heavily, standing in front of a restaurant. All the attendants of restaurants fearfully refuse to serve them because demon lords are not allowed. Olga seems like he is under a heavy burden. Master Beel grew into a horrible creature, but is still on Olga's back. Hearing rejections from all restaurants, he gets offended and releases tantrums, everyone running out to save their life. Olga wakes up out of fear. That's a dream. Baby Beel sleeps next to him peacefully. He thinks it's an indication of the future. He should find someone quicker. Early in the morning, Hildegard instructs him to feed the baby 5 times a day. Olga tries to tease her to use her milk, on which she hits him twice with her shoe and tells him Master only prefers special milk powder. On the way to school, Baby Beel gets hungry and shows tantrums. Olga feeds him in the middle of the road. He teaches him not to cry, just tell him before he is hungry. And some women criticize him for how irresponsible a father he is. Olga frightened them with a demon sound and left for school, forgetting the baby's milk on the road. When he reaches school again, the baby gets hungry. He can't find the milk pack in his bag. He requested Baby Beel not to cry and asked Furuichi to take care of the baby until he found the milk. Elaine Dillon also comes there. Olga asks his reason for coming to school. Furuichi tells him last night's story. Elaine Dillon comes to his house to meet his family and tells them a fabricated story that they are in a relationship. His plans are only to live close to Baby Beel. His family can't believe how their son can be gay. Furuichi gets embarrassed in front of his family. Olga totally ignores them. The big guy presses his chest. He might be able to make milk, and he also teases Furuichi, but it's useless. Olga is running here and there. He only cares about the baby's hunger. In search of milk, he goes to the canteen, but there are only drinks. He finds an alternative to milk yogurt. Some seniors are already there to take it first. He asks them to let him buy first but argues. Olga kicks their ass and rapidly feeds the baby. He buys a number of packs for him, but he is still hungry. Olga left with a last penny. He thought Baby Beel is not only dangerous but also so expensive. The beaten students warn Olga if Kanzaki knows how he takes all his yogurt packs, then he will be in big trouble. Olga gets hope, and at last, he finds someone. In a classroom, many students are playing indoor games. Second-year delinquent students were also in that room complaining about Olga. Shiroyama, a massive body guy, beats them for being so cowardly. Kanzaki, a brutal student of 3rd year, wearing a chain in his mouth, is sitting calmly drinking yogurt. Shiroyama tells him that Olga is looking for someone who is stronger than him. He asks Kanzaki if can he tell him his name. He smashes all of them in one move because how dare they compare him with first-year Olga. Olga also enters there with the baby. His mouth waters after seeing Kanzaki get up in bruteness. He gets sure Kanzaki will take the Baby Beel. Junior complains that Olga has bought all of his favorite desserts. Shiroyama asks him what he wants from Kanzaki. Olga is blank and has no idea how he can tell him to take this baby. Furuichi, standing behind the door, said in a stammering voice they came here to offer services to the super strong Kanzaki, and then whispered in Olga's ear to show gratitude as they are surrounded by danger. Olga tries to reply politely. Kanzaki allows him to join his team, but Shiroyama sensed something suspicious. He asks him to show proof that is he strong enough to be part of their team, and if he beats Shiroyama then he is in. Olga accepts the offer. He defeats him in a single smash. Kanzaki laughs and welcomes Olga to the team. Shiroyama tries to stand up to fight again, but evil-hearted Kanzaki kicks him away and excludes him from the group. Olga gets happy to see his evil side. Shiroyama requests him to give him a chance. He also tells him Oga is hiding something, he's dangerous. He is willing to do anything for him, upon which Kanzaki asks him first to stand up. He was beaten brutally but managed to stand. Kanzaki then orders him to jump out of the window. Everyone is shocked to see his cruelty. He orders Oga his first task to clean all mess, and he starts taping on Baby Beel's head. Oga refuses him. He noticed he is not the one. He gives him a vortex punch and Kanzaki is grounded. He warns him how dare he attack him. He takes a pack of yogurt and raises it in the air, thinking Oga can't dodge it. Oga defends his kick without even flinging. By using Hell Through, he threw him out of the window. Baby Beel is happy to see it, but unfortunately, he loses another candidate. 4 of them sitting on the roof of the building. Furuichi appreciates him teaching Kanzaki a good lesson. A guy standing behind the door, hearing all their conversations, wonders what will happen further because the 3rd year will not stand by and let him go. A moment before Baby Beel is excited, but suddenly he starts crying. It's milk time. Oga screams out. He will dump him on someone, somewhere, somehow. Under heavy lightning, Baby Beel bursts out in shock. Oga lying on the floor, Baby Beel sitting on him. He inquires Hildegard about the reason for his crying all of a sudden. She calmly takes a sip of tea and tells him the baby is sleepy and irritable, and being his parent, it's his responsibility to put the master to sleep before he shows tantrums. He gets offended and bursts out. Oga is completely burned out. Now finally the baby feels tired and went to sleep. It's a bright sunny day. Oga feels like he is diving in the ocean. He is in the confusion. Where is he? Is it a dream? He thought it must be a dream. When he woke up, Baby Beel will have wet his bed again. He thought to wake up first, then after cleaning go to sleep again. He wakes up, but this time scenarios are different. This room is filled with water and is draining out of the window. It's heavily raining too. Hildegard greets him and tells him how Master is peeing quite splendidly. There is nothing to worry about. On the contrary, it is urine imbued with holy magical powers. Sooner it will become the flood, which is the first step to destroy humanity. Oga can't believe humanity is being peed to extinction. He shouts at Baby Beel to wake up. The big guy also comes there by swimming and transforming Furuichi here to show this splendid urination. Furuichi finds difficulty in swimming, which remind big guy days of the demon world, when he and his daughter dive in such spiritual urine. Oga asks Hildegard to stop this flood. She stops the rain and put a special item around the baby which will temporarily send his pee into an alternative dimension. It's called Pee-Be-Gone. Oga further asks now the city will stay above water level. She refuses. The flood will come. Even urine is going to another dimension, but it will last for 2-3 hours and she has no spare item. Oga and Furuichi start brainstorming. They can't let this city sink. While they are thinking, Big Guy turns on the TV, an ad for Dapies which will stop peeing for 10 hours. Oga takes the baby to buy it and tells Furuichi to clean everything. Furuichi and Hildegard are sitting next to each other. He thought it's his chance to make an impression. He gives sympathies that it must be hard to take care of such an idiot master. But to his surprise, Hildegard gets offended by him. It's her honor to serve her master and her purpose of living too. She rides off to look at Master Beel. Furuichi runs to chase her. Oga and Baby Beel arrive at the superstore. A 3rd-year student is working over there. Oga asks him about diapers. He tells him they are quite famous nowadays, so it's out of stock. He shows him other brands of diapers to choose from. While Oga interrogates them, he tells him he is impressed by his strength, and also informs him about the 4 great powers of Ishiyama's school Tojo, Kunieta, Kanzaki, and Himekawa, in short form TKKH. Oga just ignores him, choosing a good fit for the baby. Robbers bashes in the superstore. Hildegard and Furuichi also enters there. The robbers are fully armed. They hostage all customers in the store. Big Guy watching the news on TV, where live telecast of the Ishiyama drugstore in which 2 high school students, 1 female, and a baby is a hostage. The store is surrounded by cops. Robbers pointed guns at them. They warned them not to play smart, otherwise they will face consciences. They are the criminal groups that can do any kind of evil deed. Introducing them as ORZ3, they will hostage them until they find their way to Hong Kong. Furuichi thinks they are very bad guys. He should think of a way to escape. Oga takes a step forward to see if they are such bad dudes. He has a chance to dump Baby Beel onto them. He asks them to show him how bad they are. Their leader wonders what a big mouth Oga is. He orders his partners to show him their talents. The girl shows how she breaks the glass bottle and uses it to get rid of extra hair. Well, that's not impressive at all. Their leader wipes her off and orders Ryuzaki to show his move. He tells when he was in school no one called him because he is from the bowels of delinquency at Ishiyama High School. Now it seems interesting. He further tells them in his time the Big Four was Tanakin Torioka. The leader finds his old stories boring. He punches him to stay quiet. Now it's Zenku. He finds pity for them. He is a thief that specializes in metal. Firstly, he did small robberies, but then he gets bored of them. He stole an entire steel tower. Furuichi inquires which steel tower, and he replies the one which disappeared by the river. Oga said sorry for the interruption, but that was his doing. That's an embracement. The leader himself takes part and teaches them how to rob the bank. He takes out his rifle and randomly shoots in the store to make him fear others. All this time Hildegard sits quietly, without any expressions. Baby Beel's eyes spark to see a gun. He tries to grip it. His item's nozzle gets stuck in the gun hole. The robber's leader tries to get him off, but it's not working. He then thinks to take the baby with him as it is the best hostage to get out of the store. Oga gets aggressive on it, and Furuichi tells him this is the best chance for him to get rid of Baby Beel. Oga thinks if he takes the baby to Hong Kong, then Japan will be safe. Baby Beel gets offended and starts crying, making everyone burn in shock. Hildegard in the flashback remembers when the Great Lord Demon gives him the responsibility of the baby and makes her his mother. She stands up and offers the leader if he wants to become this baby's parent, in order to destroy humanity as a role of the Demon Lord's parent. Boss is happily willing to take the baby, and she accepts his wish to take him to Hong Kong. All his members were shocked at how he accepted her offer. She calls Ababa, but before they leave, Oga takes the baby from him, tells them to leave alone, and punches the boss away. Baby Beel items broke, and urine started coming out. Again, the flood is going to come sooner. The store is filled with water. Oga asks Hildegard to do something. He knows she is his mother. She takes them to Akubaba to the sea, but she didn't understand Oga at all. Once upon a time, in a land far away, there was a barbaric, ruthless, and defiant demon-like bastard who thought nothing of his fellow man. Lightning strikes at Tatsumi's residence. Baby Beel is upset, and Tatsumi can't figure out why. He tries calming him down with some loud music, and it works. Baby Beel is enjoying it until Tatsumi trips over the cord and unplugs it, resulting in a loud music blast from the stereo. His sister barges and demands to keep it down, but Baby Beel is upset again. Unfortunately, lightning strikes again. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby, and this baby is not ordinary. Passing through the hallway, Abe and Shimakawa notice Oga standing still, staring at something. People around him try to ask him what he is staring at, but soon realize he's sleeping with his eyes open. Abe and Shimakawa use this chance to attack him, but Oga throws a sleep-deprived punch, smashes them in the ceiling, and goes on his way. At the rooftop, he snatches Furuichi's sandwich and eats it. Later, he realizes that he sleepwalked there. He notices a red mark on his hand and wonders what it is. He suddenly hears Hildegard and Elaine admiring the mark on his hand. They come to deliver Baby Beel's milk. He asks them about the mark, and they explain it's a Zebel spell, a symbol of the contract with the young master. It only shows on the ones recognized by a demon lord. Furuichi gets curious and asks why a demon needs a parent, to which they reply they function as a vessel for the demon to channel its power. It is influenced by the size of the vessel, and the power of the demon needs to match the size of the vessel, and the Zebel spell shows how the power of the vessel. It will grow along the master's attachment with the vessel. In other words, the more Tatsumi beats the opponent, the more it will grow. Tatsumi throws a fit. He wants a way out of this mess. Furuichi suggests not to punch anyone. He makes up his mind. He will not beat people up so that the mark can reduce in size and eventually disappear, ridding him of Baby Beel and his contract. He decides he will be a nice guy from now on, but Furuichi opposes the idea of him being an average person. Tatsumi shuts him up by punching him hard. There, he breaks his own promise. During this chaos, Hildegard wonders if choosing him was really the right choice. Hankawa is collecting information on Tatsumi. He targets his wife, Hildegard. Money of goons interrupts his planning. They have come to beat him, but he turns the table by buying them off with the money. Everyone turns to Hankawa at once except the leader. He orders the gang members to teach him a lesson, and they all turn on their leader. Hankawa gives him a chance to save himself and orders him to bring Oga's wife to him. People become aware of Hankawa's plan and wonder if he will be able to defeat Oga, but Oga is not interested as he swore not to fight again. Oga formerly defeated Kanzaki. Now, his disciples wonder if they should take sides with Hankawa since he seems promising. Oga takes Baby Beel to a riverbank, and he teaches him the importance of a man's word. He makes a promise to Baby Beel that if he keeps his word of not fighting again, Baby Beel will not cry again. Oga notices gang members running towards him. They've come to beat him up. He runs away from them, trying not to get in a fight. He jumps in the water and swims away. On the way home, Furuichi and Hildegard meet the gang leader. He knocks them out and takes them to Heimkawa. When Furuichi gains consciousness, he notices Hildegard tied up. He gets surprised to see her like this. He notices a fire gun in the hand of the gang leader, which he used to knock her out. She wakes up and tells Furuichi that she's unable to use her strength since she's drugged. Heimkawa asks her to hand over her phone, but she doesn't have one. He doesn't believe her and fires the gun on her legs. But it turns out she is telling the truth. Furuichi offers his phone to Heimkawa so that he leaves Hildegard alone. Tatsumi swims across the bank to find Abe and Shimakawa waiting for him. He curses his darn fate. They come to attack him, but he stops them to pick up his phone. It's a call from Furuichi, but it isn't him on the phone. Heimkawa asks Oga to come to him if he wants to save his friend and wife. Furuichi pins them by telling them he won't come since he swore not to fight again. But he assures Hildegard that he will definitely come to save them. One of the gang members informs Heimkawa about the arrival of a mysterious guy. It's Elaine Dillon, who got tied up as well. His build and height are of no use since he is pretty weak. Furuichi starts to get worried. He questions Oga's intentions when he hears Oga's voice. Elaine Dillon's body split opens in two, and out comes Oga Tatsumi's. He punches the measly goons Heimkawa has gathered in a second. Furuichi reminds Oga about his promise. But according to him, he is delivering the Lord's justice. Heimkawa is impressed by his strength and makes an offer to him. He wants Oga to join him and run Ishiyama with him. In return, he will give him what he desires. Oga is confused. He approaches Heimkawa and asks who he is. This question leaves everyone speechless since he is well known in Ishiyama, but Oga insists he has never heard of him before. Heimkawa laughs and agrees to fight him. If Oga manages to defeat him, he will release the hostages. He challenges Oga to punch him right in his guts, and without hesitation, Tatsumi punches him, sending him off into the ceiling. Heimkawa protected himself with a ceramic plate, but it didn't work. He attacks Oga with his 1.2 million volt stun gun, but he doesn't even flinch. For him, Baby Beel's cries are more powerful. As his last resort, Heimkawa orders his goons to attack the hostages, but it also fails. Hildegard takes them down. Oga is furious. He summons his demonic powers, making his mark bigger. He attacks Heimkawa with Zebel Blast, which smashes him into the wall, and his ceramic plate falls on the ground, splitting it in half. Hildegard is amused by the strength he summoned. Furuichi apologizes for being careless, but Tatsumi asks him not to. Tatsumi notices his mark has gotten bigger and blames Furuichi for it. They start bickering over getting kidnapped by the goons. Baby Beel sleeps peacefully. Tatsumi notices his mark while playing video games. The mark has reverted. He screams and jumps in excitement when Hildegard opens the door to ask him what he is prancing about. He shows her the mark, and Hildegard becomes furious, but Tatsumi doesn't care since he was able to revert it by staying well behaved. Hildegard looks confused. Oga explains that he stayed in the house for the past few weeks and playing games, which resulted in the mark to go back to its normal state. Hildegard is not fond of this strategy. She steps on his video game and breaks it into pieces. Oga loses his mind seeing his efforts go down the drain. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby. And this baby is not ordinary. Hildegard asks him to stop crying like a baby. She has a better toy. Oga is unsure what she is talking about. She goes to the demon world to bring a toy for the young master and him to play together. She takes it out and asks him to help her set it up while Baby Beel sleeps. They both join the pieces together using the manual. The toy is human-sized and looks like a cube. But Oga still cannot figure out what it is. As he joins the last piece together, a purple shield starts to form around the sides. Hildegard tries to push Oga out, but it's too late. They both are now trapped inside the block. Tatsumi starts panicking. Asking her what the hell it is, she explains that it is similar to an insect cage. And the manual in her hand starts talking and explains it is a portable magical beast capture cage from which no monster can escape. Oga asks for instructions to get out of it. The manual tells him that it is controlled by key blocks, a children's toy. As they play with the keys and holes, the cage will open and close if they fail to solve it. The cage will remain closed forever. Therefore, during assembling, one should stay out of the cage. Hildegard and Tatsumi try to wake Baby Beel up to help them escape this cage, but the cage is soundproof, and he cannot hear them. After some time, Baby Beel wakes up and gets overjoyed by seeing them in a cage. Hildegard and Tatsumi try instructing him to play with the key block, but he seems to need help understanding their gestures. He suddenly notices the key block and approaches it. He takes the key and puts it under the bed, making Tatsumi annoyed. He instructs him to put it in the keyhole. Baby Beel picks a circle key but puts it in the triangle keyhole. Tatsumi figures that he is dumber than he thought. When the key doesn't go in, Baby Beel forces it in and breaks the key entirely and gets excited by breaking the keys. Tatsumi is losing control. He gets angry at the thought of being in this cage forever. He summons up the demonic power and smashes the cage with his punch. Hildegard is surprised. He could summon the demonic power even when Baby Beel was not attached to him. She sighs in relief that the mark has now obtained its former form. But this doesn't excite Oga one bit. At the school's roof, Oga and Furuichi talk about Oga's adventures last week. Oga asks Furuichi to assist him so that he can revert his mark back. They notice Baby Beel going through his bag of toys. He throws all sorts of demonic toys around. Furuichi picks up a picture book, thinking it would be harmless since it's a children's toy. But he is wrong. A monster comes out of it and wraps his arm around Furuichi's neck. He closes the book and throws it away, blaming Tatsumi for not warning him. Baby Beel's attention is caught by a box. When he opens it, he turns into a doctor while Tatsumi and Furuichi turn into his nurses. The box explains the rules of the game in order to finish the doctor-patient play. The doctor has to cure patients. If he fails to do so, they won't be able to take off the costumes. Oga takes this opportunity to revert his mark. They rush to the nurse's office to set their office. They try to use medicines from the demonic box, but all of these medicines are either extremely deadly or extremely useless. Oga's rivals, Abe, Shimakawa, and the Sanada brothers gather to plot an attack on him. When they hear he has taken over the nurse's office, they make fun of him and go to see what's it all about. When they reach there, they find the hallway frozen, fire coming out from the office, along with horrible screams. They all get frightened and try to peek inside but get dragged in by Oga since he wants to treat patients. He takes everyone in one by one and experiments on them using demonic medicines. Abe is the last one remaining. He tries to escape this madness but gets dragged in by Oga. He sees his fellows, Shimakawa lying flat on the ground and the Sanada brothers hanging on the wall. The sight of them makes him horrified. Oga reassures him that they are being treated. He and Baby Beel look over at Abe with a demonic smile and experiment on him. Everything seems to fail. Furuichi asks him to blow everything up using explosive Korobaker, but he isn't stopping until he cures patients. He notices the light on Baby Beel's head and asks the box about it. It's the Uroboros holy light that can heal every injury of a patient. Finally, he has found a helpful medicine that will work. He asks Baby Beel to face the patients and flicks the light. The light miraculously cures everyone. Their costumes disappear, and Oga successfully manages to revert his mark. Abe calls Oga out, and his feet kick the box, letting off the Korobaker. Bam! Their efforts are now wasted. Tatsumi gets enraged. His mark comes back, and he beats everyone up. When he gets back home, Hildegard notices his mark and congratulates him for playing a significant role as the parent of the Demon Lord. Tatsumi and Baby Beel are overjoyed by what they are able to achieve when they put their minds to it. A distant ambulance siren echoes in the hospital. In room 402, the members of the Tojo's group, Kanzaki and Hankawa, lie wounded in their hospital bed, fighting over a banana from the basket and throwing a tantrum over who will get to eat it when Natsum along with his friend enters the room and witness their childish fight. He sits down and starts discussing business. He mentions the return of Kunieta, who came back after taking over North Kanto a day before and has gained more power than before. Kanzaki mocks her for being a girl, and she cannot presumably take over Ishiyama. Natsum quickly humbles him by reminding him of her strength, power, charisma, and immense support, through which she was able to unify all the girls at Ishiyama in her first year. Hankawa and Kanzaki hold back a little. They start fighting over who will fight the girl. Natsum has had enough. He gets up and shows his disappointment in the Tojo's group. He is going to ask Oga-chan for help, but he leaves the room after humiliating them. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby, and this baby is not ordinary. Grandfather raises the baby in the air, playing silly games with him to entertain Baby Beel. He doesn't seem interested in the games. Tatsumi asks them to stop when he notices the mark on his hand is getting bigger. Grandmother suggests that maybe it's time for Baby Beel's park debut, and everyone agrees. Hildegard seems confused about what it is. It is when one first joins the community of other children and their parents and socializes. There is no space for making mistakes. Grandmother mentions that her park debut was an epic failure because of Tatsumi. She asks Hildegard to take Baby Beel for his park debut, and she turns to Tatsumi, briefing him about the importance of debut for the young master. She hands down this responsibility to Tatsumi and leaves. Tatsumi sits on the park bench with his friend, who wonders what he is doing here with the baby. Tatsumi tells him about the park debut, and his thoughts run wild. He gets excited about meeting young mothers and leaves Tatsumi and Baby Beal alone.
Oh my god!
Baby Beal points out a parent doing upsy-a-daisy with their child and demands Tatsumi to do it for him. He tries to do it but ends up sending the baby 15 meters afar from the spot. He runs wildly to catch him before he falls. A group of mothers is discussing the rumors of the delinquent raising a baby who is always naked. The ladies spot Ai-chan, who's walking her brother. They greet her and then start taking pity on her for raising a child at the age of 17. Before she can answer, she notices a baby in the sky, and soon after, someone rushes past her. Tatsumi managed to save the baby. The ladies stand there in shock. They recognize him and the baby. Tatsumi tries to communicate with them by smiling but looks horrible and scares them off with his horrendous smile. He notices Ai-chan and asks her to do a park debut with him. She tells him this is not the right way to do a park debut, and it is not easy for a newcomer, but she hasn't done that before either. They start with a plan. At first, they have to introduce themselves. Tatsumi's horrible smile makes Ai-chan second guess. Second, they have to discuss a mutual topic. Tatsumi talks about diapers, which attract the ladies. He tells them he got a lifetime supply from some bank robbers, which makes the ladies retaliate. Third, they had to give the children a toy to play with since both of them didn't bring any toy. Alandelen appears, rips himself open in two, and takes out a toy for Baby Beal. The toy and Alandelen's stunt scares them away. Tatsumi turned to Ai-chan, grabs her hand, and tells her they are forgetting something important. Ai-chan starts to blush. Tatsumi mentions it was the park debut match. He orders Baby Beal to start, and he starts fighting with Kota. Everyone starts cheering. Kota manages to push Baby Beal off and wins. Oh no, this isn't good. Baby Beal is on the verge of crying. Alandelen runs away after giving Tatsumi a toy in order to save himself from the shock. The toy explodes in his face when he squeezes it, and he curses Alandelen. But when he looks back, Baby Beal and Kota are not there. He rushes over to search for them along with Ai, and after some time, he finds them playing in the sand. He sits down on the ground, feeling relieved. Ai-chan looks over at him, covered in dirt, and wonders if he really is a bad guy. The ladies are back with a police officer. They complain about the big guy splitting himself in half and the strange toy. The police officer looks at Ai-chan and Tatsumi. He asks about the peculiar toy that chased the ladies away. He turns to Baby Beal and inquires why he is not wearing any clothes. He looks over his tattoo and takes him as a delinquent. He tries to take him to the station, but Ai-chan interrupts in between. He starts bashing at her for sticking with him and taking his side. Ai-chan is getting enraged. She raises her hand to hit the officer, but Tatsumi strikes first, and he throws the officer into the trash can. The officer is enraged. He threatens him, but he is unaffected. The ladies stand there in shock. Tatsumi turns around and runs away. Ai-chan is the only one impressed. The only thing she regrets is not asking his name. Later that evening, she walks towards a temple where many girls in uniform are waiting for her arrival. They ask her why she went out looking like that, and she replies the leader of the Red Tails can't be seen carrying around a child. While she's changing, a girl comes and informs her about her meeting with the general. She is Kunieta, the leader of the Red Tails. In the evening, Ai-chan greets Kota and bids him farewell to step outside. Two young girls are standing in front, waiting for her. They greet her and brief her about Oga Tatsumi and his troubles with the second year's Abe, Shimakawa, and Sanada brothers, including the third year's Kanzaki and Himekawa, whom he was able to defeat all alone. Ai-chan interrupts them. She uses her sword to slash the statue in half, reminding them of the fate of everyone who tries to disrupt the peace at Ishiyama. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby. And this baby is not ordinary. Tatsumi is taking good care of Baby Beal, as he no longer wants to be electroshocked. Tatsumi and Hildegard are interrupted by Furuichi, who has come to take Tatsumi to school. Hildegard reminds Tatsumi again that he is chosen by the master. It's proof of his strength, and he should stop putting him off on someone else. On their way to school, Furuichi excitedly tells Tatsumi of the return of Queen Kunieta, but Tatsumi is lost as he doesn't know her. At the school, the measly delinquents are drooling over the girl's return. Their mouths get shut as they see the queen of Ishiyama, Kunieta, along with her front girls, Nin and Chiaki. Furuichi runs to Oga to rant about the return of the queen and the girls, but Tatsumi is unbothered. Seeing him like this makes Furuichi lose his mind, and he starts babbling about how this is a blessing for them and the school. Suddenly he grabs Tatsumi and drags him to the school entrance. He sees the tall, built figure of a girl who turns out to be Elaine Dillon dressed as a girl.
Stop it. Get some help.
Head over heels for Furuichi. He ignores him and drags Tatsumi to see Queen Kunieta. In the hallways, Kunieta is making rounds around the school. She gets called on by the lowly delinquents. Nin asks Kunieta to teach them a lesson, but she chooses to ignore them, which hurts the pride of these delinquents. That's when Abe appears and tries to pick a fight with her. He slips and triggers Chiaki. She takes out her water stun guns from her stockings and fire them at him, making him fly across the hallway, shoving him in the wall. Everyone backs off, and Kunieta asks her to stop. They hear a voice from the back. The man standing there reminds Kunieta of their deal she had forgotten. She agrees to fulfill the agreement, but Nin steps in between, threatening him and asking him to fight her first, to which he agrees. Kunieta tries to stop them, but they get lost in the heat of the moment. Kunieta steps in and smashes her sword in between them, making them stop at once. The man is stunned by how she sliced the window with her wooden sword. She turns back to him and asks again if he wants to fight with her. He denies it and runs away. Furuichi is still dragging Tatsumi to find Queen Kunieta when they see Abe shoved into a wall. They miss her. He pulls him again to another hallway to find her. In the dark staircase, Niwa-sama obsesses over himself when his informant informs him of the return of Queen Kunieta. He gets annoyed and throws a mirror at him. He tells him there can't be two queens at Ishiyama and assigns him the task of keeping tabs on Kunieta and informing him of her activities. Nin and Chiaki remind her that she only has one enemy, which is Oga Tatsumi, who has caused immense trouble at Ishiyama. She wants to find him to put the iron hammer on him in order to stop him from causing any more problems. Meanwhile, Furuichi fills in for Tatsumi about the power of Kunieta and her role at Ishiyama. She seems to be more potent than all the delinquents at the school. Kanzaki and Haimakawa return to school to meet Kunieta and reclaim their positions, but as soon as they meet her, they get scared and run away. On their way back, they encounter Tatsumi and Furuichi running in the hallway, but they avoid him as well, as they want to get beaten up again. Furuichi manages to find Queen Kunieta. Tatsumi and Queen Kunieta stand in front of each other. She faces Oga Tatsumi at last, but soon realizes that they have met before. He doesn't seem to recognize her, but she gets nervous, thinking the baby might have recognized her. She wonders about Tatsumi and the baby and if he really is a bad guy. Everyone gathers to see them fight. She calls Oga to fight, but he is not in the mood. The crowd starts booing them. She calls him again for a fight and asks him to put the baby down, but he refuses and challenges her to fight him like this. She throws her first attack, but he dodges. She goes in for her second deadly attack, but amazingly, he manages to dodge that too. Baby Beel seems to like her. Tatsumi steps towards her and asks her to be the mother of Baby Beel. Everyone gets stunned, and she cannot process what is happening. Flushed, she rushes out, calling him a dimwit. Later that day, Nin and Chiaki start talking about Oga and bash him for using such cheap tricks on her to win the fight. Still, they notice Kunieta is actually considering and wondering about the offer he made, which leaves them stunned. A broken corridor, as the windows are thrashed and furniture damaged. Nin and Chiaki make their way through the corridor, condemning AI's actions towards Oga. Nin asks Chiaki regarding what she feels about the entire ordeal, and both have the same thought that AI is head over heels for Oga. Nin then recalls how AI always loses her cool whenever she is around him. Before moving forward, both damsels think that she forgot the pact they made earlier, and all they can feel is uncertainty over the entire scenario as they can only think of what is coming next. Only an impending storm prevails in the near future. Takayuki and Oga will be seen on the school grounds with Baby Beel on Oga's back. Takayuki blames Oga for having two affairs simultaneously, with both Hildegard and AI. However, Oga shuns Takayuki here. He and Baby Beel are surely impressed by her skills and acrobatics, as even Beel might fall in love with the woman. And then Oga says he will do anything to give the baby to that woman no matter what, and then run away like nothing happened, saving himself from Beel's responsibilities. Takayuki taunts him over these thoughts. Hildegard shows up all of a sudden and asks him who he is going to abandon while handing him the milk for the baby. Meanwhile, in the classroom, Nin is confronting AI about whether she likes Oga or not. AI is adamant but denies the allegations while blushing and not making eye contact with Nin. She asks her again. She again denies that there has been nothing going on since yesterday, although she has been thinking over the words he said, and that in a school full of delinquents, he is actually not that bad of a guy and that the baby he carries is cute. She fantasizes about a relationship with him and how she cannot be a mother this early. Dean reminds her of the vow again to acquire no man in school, stick to the code, and maintain the team's integrity. While outside, Hildegard feeds Beale some milk while chatting with Oga and Takayuki as she talks about how she wants to meet AI since she is a strong woman. Oga fantasizes about being pampered, too, at the hands of Hildegard, but the notorious MK5 gang halts his daydream. The 5 major mood killers. The member who interrupted them is electrocuted by Hildegard, and as Hildegard asks everyone their names, she goes ahead and beats them simultaneously. The bystanders watch in awe as the entire gang is defeated with no sweat to shed. The last remaining member is punched hard by Oga in the face. AI looks through the window and sees Oga with another woman, Hildegard, and asks why he is standing with her, and to worsen things, the bystanders call them husband and wife. Outside, Takayuki asks Oga how he will leave the baby with AI. Oga is infuriated and kicks his friend, and he reasons that Beale would take a liking for her since she is a demon. Natsume then taunts Oga for the same reasons too. Dean and Chiaki show up and order him to come with them. Hildegard and AI face off at the gymnasium entrance, and after some elevated fighting, Hildegard hits AI. Still, she manages to dodge her attack. And all of a sudden, 2 girls come and tell her that Ofa attacked both Nin and Chiaki, and they are lying in the hospital, all bandaged. When AI sees this and asks who did this, one of the girls says that as they were approaching Oga, this happened to them. Infuriated, AI makes her way through while bystanders make small talk that Oga half-killed 2 of AI's girls. She makes her way to the rooftop, where her duel with Oga will begin. AI strikes first, but he dodges, then he shows the baby to her and says to take Beale from him. She reluctantly denies that he is hiding behind the baby. A misunderstanding grows between the two as AI asks him what he did to her girls, but he thinks of other people he beat down and flexes over that. Dean wakes up and immediately rushes towards AI to see that it was not Oga who beat the 2 girls up but another person, as Oga had to leave the place because Beale was crying. As she reaches the entrance to the rooftop, she is confronted by the members of MK5. Meanwhile, the stare down and fight between the 2 on the rooftop continues while members of the MK5 discuss that let these 2 defeat each other, then they would barge in and defeat the weakened winner. AI slashes Oga again with a luminous strike, while Nin is almost going to be beaten by the MK5. Natsume interrupts the men and saves Nin by defeating them all on his own. Nin makes it to the top only to see a defeated Oga and an AI gasping for breath, but the gang members show up, telling them that it was already too late, and they fell into their trap. All of a sudden, Oga and Beale come flying towards Miwa with demonic red eyes, and he smashes Miwa's face into the ground. Miwa keeps ranting about how he ruined his plan and how Oga is ruining his beautiful face. He keeps smashing his head until only his legs were dangling out of the rooftop floor. The clouds move apart, and the scenario becomes happier as light prevails and AI apologizes to Oga for what she did. Oga immediately offers her the baby. Although jealous of him, Takayuki looks at him from away, thinking, why does he always get the women? Hildegard regrets getting close to him because he was not ruthless with a woman in this fight, and was refraining from taking offense. Oga makes it clear that Beale is not his child, or is Hildegard his wife, or anything close, and that she is an actual demon. AI tries to moral police Hildegard, but she counters right back at her. Everyone looks beaten and angry as Tatsumi's sister enters the living room. She isn't sure why everyone looks like that. She turns to Tatsumi to ask him about what happened. He shakes her question off by being an ignorant bastard, which makes her sister choke him. She notices a cat sitting on the sofa. She asks Tatsumi how it ended up here, before she can finish her sentence. Baby Beale stands up and looks at her with fierce eyes. She gets startled and wonders why Baby Beale is so angry. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby, and this baby is not ordinary. Elaine Dillon calls for her from under the table, willing to explain the situation. He explains that they stopped at Fujino's meat shop, where Tatsumi bought fist croquettes on their way back from school. After that, Tatsumi explained to Hildegard that these croquettes were a must for him as he grew up eating them. Baby Beale wanted to eat the croquette, but before Tatsumi could give it to him, something jumped and took the croquette from his hand. It was a stray cat. Furious Tatsumi and Baby Beale look at the cat with their demonic eyes, but the cat is unbothered. Later the cat started following Tatsumi, and it jumped on his back beside Baby Beale. The cat got attracted to Oga, which upset Baby Beale, resulting in electrocuting Tatsumi. Baby Beale is not amused. Hildegard tries to appease him by making croquettes, but Baby Beale is not flattered. The cat comes to Hildegard with a flower, and she gets surprised and offers the croquettes to it. As soon as she puts the plate in front of him, Baby Beal loses control and electroshocks Hildegard. Tatsumi's sister now seems to grab the gist of the situation. Tatsumi asks Elendilin to do something instead of chatting, but he reveals that he has cat phobia because his head was eaten countless times by demonic cats. Tatsumi becomes annoyed and starts grabbing his neck. He notices Baby Beal sighting in front of him and peek because the cat is now climbing Tatsumi's shoulder again. Tatsumi gets electrocuted by his anger again. He becomes annoyed and asks Baby Beal to stop being childish and be a man. Tatsumi's sister mocks him for saying such things to a baby. The cat reappears and purrs against Tatsumi's leg. Bam. He got shocked again. Her sister eases his misery by telling him that Beal is jealous of the cat. The cat is relaxing on the table counter, but Baby Beal wants to fight it. He runs towards Elendilin and asks for something. Elendilin opens himself up to reveal a letter of challenge that Beal throws at the cat. They meet in a park facing each other, accompanied by Tatsumi and Hildegard. Tatsumi doesn't want to help Baby Beal, it's his fight. Baby Beal challenges the cat for a fight, and they start at once, but the fight doesn't end well. Baby Beal got defeated by a cat. He lies on the ground crying when he hears a cat scream. He looks up to see a bunch of stray cats coming towards him. These cats are merciless. They ask Beal and his cat to leave their territory at once. Baby Beal doesn't step back. He stands in front of them, giving them an indignant stare, but the cat doesn't seem to be bothered by it. Tatsumi witnessed this and quietly stands behind Beal to support him. He unleashes his deadly demonic stare at the cats, which makes them run for their lives. Tatsumi pats Beal for being manly and offers him to go home. The cat gains respect for Baby Beal. Hildegard makes croquettes for Beal as a reward. The cat brings Baby Beal his croquette and asks him to be his disciple. Baby Beal accepts its request and takes him in. After taking a bite from the croquettes, Tatsumi and Beal start screaming. Their lips become swollen, and Hildegard has put Tabasco in them, which makes them spicy. Baby Beal turns red and ends up summoning a powerful electroshock on everyone. The next day, Tatsumi finds Baby Beal and the cat practicing their angry stares. He doesn't quite understand why they are doing this. Hildegard explains that Beal has gained his first underling and is determined to teach him. Their conversation is interrupted by Tatsumi's mother, who suggests that Baby Beal go to a children's play center so he can make friends of his own age. He ends up taking both of them to the play center as Hildegard is busy learning making croquettes. At the center, Cuneta AI is overlooking his brother Kato playing with the kids. Seeing Kato being left out, she wonders if she should ask the other kids to play with him. Suddenly she notices Tatsumi at the counter. He seems to have recognized her, too. He drops Baby Beal and the cat off and sits with AI to chat. She gets nervous because she is worried her identity might be revealed by she realizes that she is in a different outfit. She notices the cat and asks him about it. He explains that Baby Beal has taken a liking to it, and she sees people talking about them. Assuming they is a couple, suddenly Tatsumi proposes they should be friends, which makes her think wild thoughts about marriage, and starts acting strange. Meanwhile, Kato, the cat, and Baby Beal seem to be getting along well. The other kids get irritated by them and challenge them by building a taller block tower. This makes Baby Beal annoyed, and they start competing with each other. AI and Tatsumi talk about how being friends is moving too fast. When Tatsumi agrees it's a pretty good combination, AI sits in steam. Baby Beal and the other kids' tower have now reached the same height. Beal spots a plushie and throws it over his tower to make it taller. He reaches to grab another, but the kids snatch it before him. They start fighting, and the kid throws the cat on the wall, making Beal angry. He ends up being defeated. Kato notices a toy in Beal's bag and goes to grab it. Meanwhile, AI is busy fantasizing about her life with Tatsumi when she remembers Hildegard. She asks Tatsumi about her, but that dimwit doesn't understand and ends up saying that women are best for Beal, and that she too can be Baby Beal's friend for life. Upon hearing this, she realizes that he had been talking about Baby Beal and Kato all along and not them, which makes her enraged. He mentions the wooden sword that Baby Beal liked, which belonged to a woman whose name he can't recall. AI gets more furious for being made a fool of. Kato grabbed the toy, but the kids took it from them and threw it on their tower to make it taller. Beal recognizes the toy, and they all rushed away from the tower. AI stands in front of Tatsumi, enraged. He is unsure why she is angry, and soon they hear a bang. The tower came down, and their team won. Tatsumi grabs Beal and runs away. On their way back, they hear cats fighting, the same cats that came on Baby Beal's cat. Bigger stray cats are now cornering them. Beel's cat jumps in between them and gives those big cats the demonic stare Baby Beel taught it. The cats get afraid and run away, thinking of him as a demon cat. The cat turns to Baby Beel to bid him farewell as now he wants to make friends on his own like Baby Beel. It gives its respect to his master Beel and returns to his cat group, leaving Baby Beel and Tatsumi. Hildegard serves the whole family her croquettes which she made after learning the recipe. They look promising. But then again, they taste horrible. It's a disaster. A luxurious limousine pulls over in front of the school. Out comes from it one of Ishiyama's TKKH and the son of the head of the Heimkawa group. Heimkawa Tetsuya. His disciple gives him an envelope containing Oga Tatsumi's information. To avenge his humiliation, he hires goons to deal with Tatsumi. He is confident that this time he will be able to defeat him since he possesses something he doesn't, money, which gives him access to everything he wants. During lunchtime, Tatsumi and Baby Beel wait in line to get their food. Tatsumi picks up a sandwich and proceeds to pay when he notices the lunch lady is different today. He asks about the usual lunch lady, but the mysterious lady tells him that she caught a cold and she's her replacement. But Baby Beel is not convinced. On the roof, Tatsumi sits with Furuichi to have lunch. He tells him about the lunch lady. Heimkawa is spying on them along with his goons. He has switched the lunch lady to put unusual things in the sandwich that Tatsumi picked. His strategy is to make him sick and then attack him as one cannot fight with its stomach. Tatsumi picks up the sandwich to take a bite, but he gets disturbed by Hildegard. She comes down flying on her demonic bird with a lunch box. It's for Baby Beel and him. She received an order from the demon world to deliver lunch to them. Heimkawa is disappointed and jealous seeing Oga's wife give him lunch. Furuichi desperately looks at the lunch she brought them. Tatsumi notices and offers the lunch since he has already bought a sandwich. Heimkawa feels ecstatic seeing this. Furuichi starts eating and fantasizing about Hildegard being his wife, and as soon as he finishes, he starts rolling on the ground. Tatsumi finishes his lunch and mocks Furuichi while Heimkawa wonders why he is still standing. Hildegard's recipes are always unusual, which has made Tatsumi's stomach stronger. Heimkawa's plan could have done better. He turns to his second plan but is cornered by the actual lunch lady whom he had tied. At Ishiyama's marketplace, Tatsumi and Furuichi notice a lot of costumed characters. These characters are hired by Heimkawa to catch Baby Beel. Whoever catches him will get a bonus. They all strategize how to approach him, but their attention is diverted to Gohan-kun, the main character of the world-famous anime Eat the Rice. Baby Beel seems to love the character. He is getting excited seeing him. This makes Heimkawa delighted. His plan might actually work. As the character moves towards Baby Beel, he notices something. He looks back and forth between the original poster and the character. The character approaches them. Tatsumi steps forwards and punches him hard, setting him off on a flight across town. Furuichi grabs Oga by the collar asking him why he did that. He explains that it was a fake since the original character's chopsticks were pink, and he was yellow. Baby Beel also confirms. The other goons leave their way and go to Heimkawa for their payments. Once again, he failed. They go to buy a croquette from the shop. Tatsumi sits at a nearby bench waiting for the croquette to cool down when Furuichi is stopped by a woman in the alley dressed in fishnets and revealing clothes. She tries to lure him in exchange for the baby. Furuichi is already drooling over her. Heimkawa is confident this plan will work since no one can deny a dynamite body. The woman is proving Furuichi. He closes his eyes and tries to grab her hand, but to his demise, it's Elaine Dillon. He feels betrayed and reveals that it's actually a delinquent dressed as a woman. Heimkawa has had enough. He comes out with his lot of goons to take his revenge. But Elaine Dillon steps in and sucks them all in his body, travels to a remote beach, throws these delinquents there, and returns with Furuichi, leaving them stranded. Later Heimkawa realizes that he has spent all of his money on getting his revenge back. He blames Oga for this. He did everything to get to him. Now his delinquents are asking him for their payments, and he doesn't have money. He later encounters Shiro and Natsume. He asks them why they follow Kanzaki. They just say that he is active and fun to be around. Heimkawa wonders if he himself should face Oga. He goes towards the cafeteria with a bottle of hot sauce. Since he doesn't have money, he needs to utilize whatever is on hand. But the lunch lady spots him and throws a sandwich at him, which makes him reconsider his plan. He tries to dress up as Gohan-kun, this time coloring up the chopsticks. But he is recognized by his big hair. Tatsumi throws an explosive punch at him, sending him into the sky. Later they go to buy cricket, where he tries dressing up as the woman. He notices a group of goons across the street targeting Oga. He goes up to them, and they recognize him but make fun of him for losing all his delinquents. He assures them that money is not the only thing that makes him a member of TKKH by throwing a punch at them. He uses his electric stick to shock them and make them disappear. One of the goon aims his gun at him, and he aims his post. They both fire at each other. When he opens his eyes, he sees Kanzaki handing him a drink. They both start bickering again when Tatsumi, Baby Beal, and Furuichi pass by them, wondering why something unfortunate has not happened yet. Hankawa sends Kanzaki a year's supply of yogurt to repay his debt. Natsume informs him that they all have an expiry date of a month from now. Kanzaki asks them to get him out of this mess. A mysterious lightning strikes at Tatsumi's residence with a bang, waking everyone in the neighborhood. Baby Beal is upset and restless. Tatsumi tries calming him down by playing games with him using his favorite toys and scaring her, but nothing is working. His sister kicks him in the face for scaring him as he is already crying, but this makes Baby Beal more upset. Oh no. Bang. They get electroshocked again. This story is about a high school juvenile delinquent going through strange circumstances to raise a baby, and this baby is not ordinary. Baby Beal is throwing a tantrum, and Tatsumi has no clue why. Hildegard tells him it's his time to night cry. The last time he cried, it was so loud that people from neighboring countries couldn't withstand it and pledged their obedience in return for making it stop. Tatsumi tells her he cannot withstand it either, or the people outside who have gathered in front of the house to inquire about the crying. They might get kicked out if this prevails. Hildegard offers to silence the people in front of the house, but Tatsumi holds her back. She suggests making Beal comfortable before sleeping. Tatsumi thinks of a warm bath in order to comfort him, but Hildegard tells him that Baby Beal hates being submerged in water as the great demon lord once left him submerged in magma for too long. Tatsumi is puzzled at the parenting style of the demon lord. He tries showering him, but that gets out of hand when Baby Beal tries to escape the water, but ends up in the tub. A shockwave is summoned upon both of them. The following day, the whole family gathers to find a solution for Baby Beal's night crying. They can't seem to find a solution since Baby Beal is different from other babies. Tatsumi's mother suggests tiring him out during the day to make him fall asleep at night. Tatsumi's sister asks Hildegard about Beal's liking. He likes to be in a position of power. Tatsumi's father volunteers to be a horse so that he can ride him, but Baby Beal isn't amused. The change makes Tatsumi the horse, and Baby Beal seems delighted. He tries to entertain him by speeding up but ends up hitting his head. Baby Beal is amused. Tatsumi runs out of energy, and his father comes up with juggling balls, and Baby Beal's attention is now towards him. He points out at the dumbbells. The grandfather tries to juggle them, but they fall on his face straight, and Baby Beal feels delighted. Tatsumi's sister suggests Tatsumi do something. He picks up the anatomy doll and scares Beal. Whack. He gets kicked in the face for scaring the kid by his sister. They start arguing and fighting, and Baby Beal is enjoying the chaos. At night, Tatsumi's mother places Baby Beal's bed between Hildegard's and Tatsumi's bed, suggesting that he should sleep snuggled between his parents. They look down on Baby Beal. Surprisingly, he has fallen asleep already. They both feel relieved and try to sleep. In the middle of the night, Hildegard wakes up and steps on Tatsumi, making him scream, which wakes Beal up, and he starts crying again, electro-shocking everyone once again. The neighbors gather and call out Oga-san to put an end to this problem, but he can't do anything but apologize. Tatsumi blames Hildegard for the scene she created. She recalls a toy that makes Baby Beal calm, but it resides in the demon world. She sets off to retrieve the toy for Baby Beal. The whole town didn't sleep for the past few days. Furuichi complains to Tatsumi, but he himself is unable to please Baby Beal, even when he tries several things along with Hildegard. Furuichi gets annoyed at him for taking a bath and sleeping with Hildegard. Everyone at the school is sound asleep since there is no crying sound at this time of the day. Kanzaki dreams of defeating Oga. He wakes up and takes his disciples to meet him since he got a vision. Tatsumi takes a nap on the roof, but he is awoken by Baby Beal. He is hungry and on the verge of crying. He rushes to find something to eat for him. In the cafeteria, AI dreams of Tatsumi dragging him to a church, assuming they will marry, but it turns out to be a park debut. Nin wakes her up, asking if she was dreaming of him again. She denies it but is caught red-handed since she was speaking in her sleep. Nin warns him not to get involved with Tatsumi, but AI thinks otherwise. She overhears some guys talking about Hildegard and Tatsumi taking a bath together, which makes her enraged. Tatsumi appears and asks her for help, but she throws him out of the room right at Kanzaki's feet. He recalls his dream and tries to kick him, but Tatsumi throws him and his disciples across the room. Himekawa dreams of Tatsumi fighting with Tojo, who presumably is the only match for him. His fantasy ends when he wakes up. He notices Tatsumi dragging himself across the hallway, and he wonders if he already did fight with Tojo like in his dream. He gathers his disciples and tries to take advantage of his wrecked state by giving him electroshock with his stick. Tatsumi turns to them in anger and smashes them all for annoying him. He comes back home to see Hildegard standing in front. She couldn't find the toy for Baby Beal, and the last resort is to take him back to the demon world. She takes Baby Beal and goes out, thanking him for his services. Tatsumi stands there feeling empty. He returns back to reality only to realize that it was a dream. His mother tells him to put Baby Beal to sleep since he is getting restless again. He looks at Baby Beal, and his mind floods with their memories, making him realize that he can't be separated from him now. He picks him up and takes him to the room to sleep, but to his surprise, he sees a huge demonic toy that plays demonic sounds. Hildegard tells him it's the toy Beal likes. As soon as Baby Beal hears the demonic sounds, he feels asleep, but Tatsumi's problems have now increased since the toy is much louder than Baby Beal's cries. Baby Beal sees Tatsumi's mouth open while he sleeps and steps inside him, making him a robot. He invites Hildegard in, too, and they both fly up in the sky. Elaine Dillon wakes up from a dream.